Welcome to the Pump Rules Podcast, the show where cast and connoisseurs come to talk all things Vanderpump Rules.
Welcome, everyone, to Jasmine Goode, who you know from the Valley, but you may not know about her long and storied career as a member of Bachelor in Paradise, working with the NFL, a real estate mogul, former server, and the only queer woman on the Valley.
Yes, thank you. That
You're
was
quite
such a
welcome.
long intro. Oh my God. I forget I've done so much things in my life. I'm like, oh, gee, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I was curious when you started the real estate, because in the midst of everything else, I also find it interesting when people hook into real estate, because people do it at different ages, and it's very lucrative and I think also satisfying personally.
Yes, I've only been in real estate for about a year, a little over a year. It's something I've always wanted to do, just like have for myself. And I'm still working like a full-time job, but I was like, you know what? Let me just do it now. Why not? Got into it. I love it. It is really difficult. It's not as easy what people think, but it is still rewarding, like just the people I meet and the things like that.
Yeah, from what I know, it's difficult at first, and then when you lock in to a certain rhythm, and then of course connections in that people refer you, oh, you know, Jasmine's fantastic. Oh,
That's
let me put you in the hands of Jasmine. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if you got personal, or rather people skills, then there you go. And clearly you're very charming, which is quite obvious.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And one of the things I was really curious about watching The Valley is I'm a queer person as well, and I am sometimes a little bit put off by the outrageous swamp of heteronormativity that is on display.
I know. And it's especially like not having my partner being able to film with me this season was even harder. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah.
Well, how do you either cope with that, or do you find it interesting that you have you and Zach have a sort of an outside perspective? Zach has voiced some of those things very early on, I think, and kind of in a joking way.
Yeah.
However, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, with this group, I kind of just have to, anything that happens, I never really take it serious with this group, because it's like, you never know what's going to happen. I'm like, whatever. And thank God I have Zach there to like help me with that, because sometimes I'm just like very quiet when I see certain things. But I think Zach is the one who's been very vocal, and I'm like, thank you, I have you. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have him with me. So I'm like, thank God for Zach, because I don't have my girl here. I don't know how to handle sometimes certain things that happens in this group, certain time. Like, I remember you'll see this episode, Mia mentioned something like about, hey guys, did you go home and do this with your men? And then she's like, oh, I mean, and your girl too. And it's like getting left out on certain things. I'm like, I'm here. Yes, I'm dating a woman, Nia, remember? But, you know, I was still getting to know her at the time, so I let her slide on that. But, yeah.
And it's funny, I'm not very friends. I'm friends with a bunch of the folks on the show. I don't know half the folks, but like Jax and Brittany used to be my neighbors, and Zach I know very well and everything. And it is funny because I know a bunch of the folks that are just very traditional in many ways.
Very, 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 very. So I try to I give people a little grace, just especially since this is my first time getting introduced to some of the couples in the group. So I'm like, okay, they don't really know me, but we'll see. Next year, absolutely not letting anything slide.
Anything in particular that you were like, wow, that's so chauvinistic?
Nothing I could think off the top of my head. I mean, there's so much. Let's see what Jackson said. No, I'm just kidding. I love Jackson.
Wait, Jax said something chauvinistic? I'm glad I'm sitting down, because this is, Jasmine, I think you're besmirching his good name.
Oh my, you know, he's so funny. Like, I think a lot of people, like him and Jesse, a lot of people are giving them so much crap right now. And I understand, but like knowing them, I have a good time hanging out with Jesse and Jax. And when I tell people that, they're like, what? And I'm like, I do. I mean, they might not be a great husband, but I agree. Like, I don't think they're a great husband, but they're a great father. And I love hanging out with them. And it's a good time. So.
Yeah, I concur. Jax is a terrific time. I've said to people who are curious, similar way, I'm like, just don't get married to him or be his girlfriend. That's all. And you're going to have a great time.
Exactly. I'm like, Jax is great, just not the best husband in the world, but I love hanging out with him.
Yeah, same here. Same here. So I imagine Jesse, who is also someone who's known Jax, and they seem like birds of a feather, would be the same way because he
Oh
seems like
my
the life of the
gosh.
party.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jesse, I love his energy. He's so much fun, and it was really sad watching the show and seeing, that his relationships like, ending. But at the same time, like he is a good person, and we've had great moments, and he's actually a good time to hang out with. So I hope people maybe next season can see that because he's really a good guy.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I've
Yeah,
had limited interactions with him, but I met him a couple times at Jax's Studio City, and yeah, he seems like a lot of fun. You get
yeah.
that read on him. And life of the party. Unfortunately, at some of the parties, it's a different kind of life of the party. Uh,
Ooh, yes.
well, I mean, everyone has their moments. Kristen has their
Yeah,
moments. And I love Kristen as well. But again. Having known the Vander Gang for quite a long time, it's that interesting thing of you see them on TV and you see these certain aspects of their personality, particularly within relationships.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people who don't get that aspect of it don't really realize that if their friend group was followed by cameras for a while,
It,
probably you'd see something similar.
like 100%. I think viewers they don't understand, like if you were in this same situation you would totally understand, like you had cameras around you. It's a different, like, and it's a different vibe, like normally you have an argument, you just leave, you just, I don't want to deal with it, like cut you off the rest of my life. But it's like, we're here, we're doing a job, so we are friends, but we have to like actually like focus on this one thing and like hash it out. It's going to be hard, it's going to be tough, but like you got to do it. And some things end up getting said and no one likes that, but it's like at the end of the day, like, we're trying to be raw and authentic and real, and we just have to keep doing that to, make good TV.
Yeah, exactly. And Janet knows how to make good TV, doesn't she?
What's funny? Janet, I love Janet. Me and Janet will always be friends. Yeah, we like bicker and fight and stuff, but Janet, she says she doesn't know what she's doing. She's like, "Oh, I'm so new to this. I don't know what I'm doing." I'm like, girl, you know what you're doing. Like,
Janet's so naive.
I'm like,
That's the
you're
thing. She's
making good
so
TV and people know it. I see it, but like, she doesn't see it that way. She's like, I'm just like, what's going on? This is so bad. I'm like, nope, it's okay. This is you being you. And I mean, it's, I think people do TV and they don't realize how they're going to be read. They're like, oh my God, this is what the world's perceiving me as. Like, this is, I'm like, yeah, girl, like I've been there. Like, it sucks to like, get the little heat, but that's just you being you. And that's
it also
honestly
means
rough.
you're getting some traction from folks. Like you're being
Yes.
like people are thinking about you and in a way they care about you, much in the same way that Jack season 1, season 2 of Vanderpump Rules. I mean, he's a beloved character.
Yes.
Even though no one has done more things that would make someone think he's not than Jax. But you see Sandoval doing some crazy stuff, and it's not quite the same. So,
That part. That part. You have to say. I'm like, Janet, trust me, you're on a good path. I'm like, you're doing great, sweetie.
yeah. No, I love Janet as well, and it's
Yeah.
fun to see her in this capacity.
Hmm.
And also, I love her research ability. She's the internet
Yes.
detective, almost on par with Kristen.
Janet knows how to get into it, knows how to find things. She is the FBI. Like, if I ever need something, like, I remember years ago, I was like, I need you to help me find something on somebody I was trying to date. And she was like, I'm on it. Got it. Found their social security number. Like, she is really, yeah, she knows how to do her work.
Well, and also she cares about her friends. And seeing the thing in Malibu reminds me of another time with her. She'll always be the one like sorting out food and making sure everyone's taken care of with whatever beverage,
Yeah,
etc.
she is always type A. Like, that's one thing I think that could, sometimes be, I think it's going to be hard for her sometimes because she's always wants to be like in charge of everything. And I think that's why she gets so like worked up and overwhelmed and then about things. And you'll see, I don't want to spoil a lot, but I
Oh
think
no, it's
that's her
okay.
problem. Sometimes like just pull
I was
back.
at the soft opening, if that's what you're talking about.
Yes. It's like, girl, it's like, Janet, just, you don't have to know everything, but we love her.
Hey, look, we like a passionate person, and clearly you're very passionate. And I want to get into your history in the reality television,
Yeah.
and that started with was it you were working
Oh my
at
God.
Sir and watching it all going on?
Yeah. So I worked, so after The Bachelor, I moved to LA and I met Lala first, Lala, Sheena, and then we just kind of all became friends. Then there was opening to be a host, and I was like, absolutely, I'll take it. And then just being there around, I could see what was going on, like Kristen wasn't even working there. She's like storming in all the time. Jack's on the bar. It was a mess just watching it from like, being a worker. And I'm like, these people are crazy. I'm like, I can never like do this, And now look at me. I'm like, what if like never say never, okay? Yeah, never say never. I will say
Yeah,
that.
sure. And you said that after being on The Bachelor, am I correct that it was Bachelor in
Yes.
Paradise?
Yes, Bachelor in Paradise. And I told myself, I was like done with reality TV. I just, especially like the dating part of like, I'm done going on TV trying to fight for love. I'm like, this is this most stupid thing ever in the world. Uh, Thankful for the experiences. It's great, but never again. And I always said, if I do something else in the future, it would be something like Amazing Race, something I could do with like my partner. It was like Amazing Race or like a 2-person thing. And so when they offered us this, we're like, absolutely. Like me and Melissa could show our life. There's no queer people on TV. But then she wasn't able to, fully commit the season because of legal stuff with another show she was on. So that was kind of sad. But it was just like knowing that we could have this platform for the future was nice to me. I wanted that.
Yeah, representation matters.
100%. We need it. There's like, I don't think there's a Black queer girl on Bravo at all. I have no idea. I have to.
Well, I think pick either one of those and both. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah. Pardon me. Someone just
no,
called me.
fine.
How rude. How rude. I mean, I should have put it on Do Not Disturb.
Us?
I know. I mean, the nerve of them. Don't they know who I'm talking to?
You get in touch with me.
So I'm a little foggy on some aspects of your life.
Yeah.
When did you come out, or when did you realize that you were queer?
I was always like fluid. I've dated girls. I think my first girlfriend was right after college. I was cheering on the New York Jets right at the time. So all my friends knew, like my close friends, but being a dancer, it was really hard for me to want to be open with my teammates because I always felt like they were gonna think that, oh my God, you like me or you're into me. And I'm like, no. I like, I'm bi. I like men, women. It was more like I just wanted to just, try out, I guess, everything at that time. And then once I found a girlfriend, I was like, oh my God, I actually really do like this. Like this might be something I'm into. So all my close friends knew, my parents knew, but it wasn't like something I was out to like my whole team. And I hated that feeling, but it was just so hard that time for me because I didn't know how to be out to a whole group of women that were completely straight, conservative, some of them, and it was very hard for me. But I think once I moved to, once I worked for Disney after that, oh my God, I was like completely like, okay, I'm here. I'm working for Disney. Like everybody's gay that I work with. So it was so nice to just be like, out and not have to worry about like working with people and not letting them know. So I think once I worked for Disney, that was the moment I was like, okay, everyone knows like family, friends didn't even matter anymore.
So am I right in the trajectory is NFL, cheerleading, and then Disney, and then Bachelor in Paradise, and then Sir.
Yeah, so much. It was like, so I did dance for 7 years, like 6-7 years. Then I went to The Bachelor and then ended up with Sir. Yeah.
Okay. And when you say dance, is that including other things like any on stage or in addition to NFL?
Just mostly NFL. I started with the New York Jets, then I did the Cowboys and the Warriors, Golden State for 1 year, and NBA. Yeah. So
you hit all the classics.
Yep, hit the hard, the top teams. I said, if I'm going to dance, I'm going to dance to the best, and I did, and that was the best experience of my life. Like, I can't even. It tops nothing. And Disney. I mean, being a Disney princess was pretty awesome too.
That was I wanted to ask. So, you were a Disney princess. Which Disney princess?
Well, I was friends. I don't want to spoil the magic. No, I'm just kidding. Friends with Princess Tiana.
Ah, okay. There you go. So basically, you've been in the public eye in one form or another since what age?
I've been performing since I was like, my mother put me in dance when I was like very little. And I've always done like musical theater all the way through college. I was in cheer since I was 7. And then entertainment, like the Jets was after college. So that was like, when I'm 21, I've always been like in the entertainment world. So I've always like, it's been a part of me, like being on TV. It's nothing like when my parents, I told them, hey, I'm doing this new show. They're like, oh, okay, another one. They're like, not really surprised. They're like, okay, great. This is what you were made to do,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's great. I love it. I love entertainment.
So did you do a lot of theater in school or anything like that?
I did theater. I was in like, Guys and Dolls. I was in Annie. I was like all that, like the classic musicals growing up. Did a little bit like serious theater stuff, but I'm more of like a singer. I used
Or
to
like
sing.
Annie
I
to
love
Ibsen
singing.
or something like that?
Yeah. I'm like more of like, the fun Broadway shows type of things. I'm not really like the crazy serious actor. Can't do that.
Yeah.
More
Well,
just like
there's
the
a lot
fun.
of depth in those shows as well.
Yeah.
No, there is. Yeah.
Annie. There are some parts actually. There are some moments. I remember doing some, and I'm like, I was Adelaide and Guys and Dolls, and I remember I had to have some moments, had to go deep, cry and
Mhm.
get really into the moment. But yeah, it was a good time. I miss those
Did you
things.
know that there was a sequel to Annie? It was a stage show. It was called like Miss Hannigan's Revenge.
No way.
Yes,
No
it
way.
bombed. It
Wait,
bombed. And if you can find the songs on
Hannigan's
YouTube, and
Revenge?
they're so dark, you're like, whoa, what's going
Oh,
on? Basically, it's a revenge. She's trying to get Annie. Like, she was in the film, or
I'm surprised
the
I never
regular
heard of
show.
this one. I love musicals. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna look that up.
It was
He's like,
a real big flop. So that's why they
of
don't talk
course.
about it. They're not like, hey, we're doing Annie, and by the way, here's the cast recording of this. So yeah.
Never made play.
What
That's
was the
funny.
first? What was the first show that sort of tripped your interest into theater?
I was a Guys and Dolls. Well, the first one I ever was in, or just in general watch.
No, that you saw. Like, what
Oh,
was
that I
the
saw?
thing that, like, actually film or TV show or anything that sort of made you feel like, as a kid, ooh, that's for me?
Oh, okay. This isn't a film, but a moment I remember was I was in Disneyland and Disney World with my parents and watching the show they do, the castle show. I was amazed, like just the singing, the dancing. I think I was 7. I don't remember. My mother always tells me this story, and I was like, "Oh my God, Mom, I need to do this. I want to perform. Like this is what I need to do." And she always laughs back now. She's like, yeah, go keep dreaming, like you're like, because back then there was no like black, like anybody black on the stage, or no princesses, nothing, performing.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, okay. Oh, dream big. You can do anything. And then she said, now looking at me, when I did audition for Disney and made it, she was like, oh my God, like you really can do anything you want in your life, or manifest, whatever. So I think I remember that moment being like, I want to do this I want to perform. And so after that, she put me in musicals, I was in dance, and just kept performing until, I guess now, if you want to call this performing, I guess.
Well, in a way, it is. You know what I mean? It's sort of parallel life to real life, but it is real life. It's a whole thing. Yeah. And like 20 years ago, it was considered a different thing. And like people would say, well, I don't want to do a reality show because I'm an actor, and I don't want to. Now it's the gateway into a lot of times. Or Broadway shows. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So blessed be. And is there any show you would like to host, like Love Island?
Oh my God, Love Island. Oh, I love Love Island. I would love that. Would be crazy. One, just to go. Where do they film? Fiji, or I don't even know.
Fiji. Yeah, Fiji.
Yes, I'll be a host.
Not too bad. Where did you go when you were on Bachelor in Paradise? Because I haven't seen it, but I know what I've heard is it's like the craziest thing in the world.
We were in Mexico. I think it was called, not Puerto Vallarta. Oh God, I forget exactly the place. But it was in Mexico. They have their own private villa area, beach. It is so intense. It was so much fun though. I mean, they just like, it's different than The Bachelor. You just go in there and just like, you got men, women, and everybody's just like ready to get it on. And at the time I was out at the time, and Jamie, she was the only like out person, I guess, like with the network, but they knew about me like on the back end. They're like, oh, do you want to go on a date with Jamie? She's coming in. Absolutely not. She's my best friend. I don't want to date my best friend. Like, I never understood that. I was like, listen, she's actually like my sister.
Yeah.
But then I was like, actually, maybe just so I can go on a date, because you just want to like do something. So I was like, maybe I will.
But we can just hang out for a while. And,
yeah.
So
what? Drink, party.
Yeah, she's a good companion for that. So our time's running out, so I just got one question for you. Your partner is Melissa. Did I get that right?
Yes, Melissa.
So what show is Melissa on? She
was on Squid Games.
Oh, okay.
She made it to like top 60. She didn't win the money, unfortunately, but hey, she loves, like, she's really adventurous and does crazy things. So maybe you guys will see some of that next season. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, looking forward to it. And again, not again, congratulations on season 2. I'm looking forward to the continuation.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And nice meeting you, and talk to you again.
You too. Bye.
Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PumpRulesPod, or go to PumpRulesPodcast.com for more information. Email PumpRulesPodcast@gmail.com and follow on Facebook at Facebook.com/PumpRulesPodcast. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.